Episode 6, Moving Out. Compromise reached, Jeffries yelled, "Michelle! Cho!" Front and center. Both sergeants immediately stepped out of the blur, and Jeffries lowered his voice. "No more patrolling inside the perimeter. Cho, your squad is to take Michelle's squad's place on the line. Michelle, get your men lined up and ready to move in 3 minutes. Assign one private specifically to stay at the elbow of each of the 2 scientists accompanying us. Move." "Not at the elbow," Titus' calm voice said. Green screeched, "Private." Putting a hand on her arm, Titus said, "It is no insult to you, Green. It's how the Legion works. All jobs are done by privates. He isn't going to pull a squad leader from his job to watch over us. Michelle. Make that 2 steps behind the scientist. Sound off drill as we walk." "Sound off drill," asked Titus. "Every member knows where they are alphabetically in their squad and has to say their name in the right order as we move. Without being able to see each other clearly, it serves an extra purpose. I have a constant way of monitoring each man in the squad. As platoon leader, I have to know how each man sounds and know what any change in that sound means. Like now, I may not always have suit instruments to feed me that information." Before Titus could say more, Jeffries yelled, "Ready, Michelle." "Ready, sir," came out of the blur to his left. Turning, Jeffries said, "You may lead the way, Dr. Green." With a huff, she turned and headed for that voice, and the column started off a moment later. 4 steps in, he heard, "Adderson." 4 more steps and Chin shouted, "Chin." The sand pulled at his feet. The air sucked water from him. An hour of it was going to be brutal on the men. The 4th time he heard Adderson, he yelled, "Corporal Wes." That man near the head of the column said, "Sir." And then followed it up with, "I am sorry you haven't found your plant yet, Dr. Green, but we need to start circling the camp," in softer tones. "Just a little further," she said. Dr. Titus sounded tired as he said, "Now, doctor, turning right is as good as straight for our search." He heard her huff again before she said, "Very well, right it is. But we better find something. Then consider what not finding even one more in this amount of time means for the ecology of this place," Titus replied. 6 Addersons later, her voice rang out in excitement. "A plant. By damn, we have another plant. Don't step on it. Squad, halt." Michelle bellowed and massive, giant, dark brown shapes erupted from the sand all around them. Jeffries barely saw the staff the creature swung at his head in the fog that was his vision. But a glimpse of that moving weapon was enough. His years of martial arts and weapons training took over as if a big man were swinging a staff at him. Stepping inside the blow, placing his hand where the staff would have the least momentum, his other hand shot out in a hand strike to the midriff. Something snapped. A rib? The creature collapsed, grabbing its chest and leaving the staff in Jeffries' left hand. Shifting to a 2-handed grip, he whirled and struck, and something crunched, whirled and struck and something crunched again, and 2 more huge brown shapes went down. But his glasses flew from his face on the second whirl. His ears told him that at least 2 of his men had used the training he had given them to good effect and also had staffs. He hoped they still had their glasses. Blocking a strike at his head that had little force behind it, he counterstruck, taking down another creature, even though he was just swinging at a big dark brown blur. Jeffries sensed rather than saw the next strike. He barely got his staff up in time to block it. That blow jarred him to the bone, nearly taking the staff from his hand. Was that small 10 blur almost the same color as the sand, his opponent? Assuming that to be the case, he moved to block the blow he suspected was coming from there. It was, and was even more forceful than the first, but Jeffries was set to use it as part of his counter, and he hit the tan spot using that rebound. But it was only a graze, and the next blow caught him in the side of the head.